Hey, this is Seth from USV, and today I am going to be discussing two things. And I'm going to put this into the science category because I really think it is science. But disclaimer, it is not a little scientific lesson or anything. Sorry. Like okay, so first thing I'm going to talk about is one of my earlier videos, okay? And the second thing is a new sort of thing that I have been researching. So first, I'm going to. Okay, so Sten Duwardo, one of my associates in USV Productions, had brought up a point with me to me that concerns the Tower of Liar thing that I did, which is right here. So when I did this, I looked through a bunch of sources, which I didn't mention in the description because I'm not very smart. So I am. So what I doing now? Wow. I just completely lost my train of thought. Sorry. So, anyway, I didn't list any of my sources in the thing. So, what I did was I went through multiple sources and I found some information and I tried to replicate it and add some of the sources together with different information from each source. And a major source that I got, that I took some information from, was right here. Which, yeah, I know looks bad because the Tower of Liar thing from Vsauce is like pretty much this exact lesson. But yeah, and I completely did take a lot of information from that and take one of his little experiment things, which was about right here when he was building up the block thing. So yeah, I kind of messed up. So now I'm going to try to go through different sources and put them in the description and make sure that you guys know where I'm getting my information. And please, 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 this is the most important thing. I need you to fact check me. Because that's the most important thing that you can do in this with me and USV Productions. Because I know that I have some information that is false. Or that I brought up some sources that were less than reputable. So, please fact check me. Look into what I say. Look into some of the sources that I mention. And just make sure before you go tell your friends that, oh hey, the Tower of Liar can da 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 da. Okay? So please do that. So now that I'm done with that, now I can go into my new thing, which I have three sources right here. Okay? One is mentalfloss.com, which lists a bunch of strange scientific studies. Well, 24 of them to be exact. So I was looking through here and I was thinking, so to kind of stress my point about fact checking my all of the information that I present, I am going to fact check this article and make sure that it so so I picked number 11 because it seems kind of weird. It says a paper published in 2004 out of the Zoology Institute of Stockholm University is well summed up by its title, Chickens Prefer Beautiful Humans. That's kind of weird title. So, it turns out that chickens tend to peck at faces that humans also prefer and consider beautiful. It's a good thing that, and yeah, and then he goes on about Sweden. So, I was kind of thinking, okay, that doesn't seem right. So dug a little deeper and I found basically the like report that they did about this, and it's labeled "Chickens Prefer Beautiful Humans." So I found a few things that were kind of weird. That kind of said that yeah, this isn't super reliable, and that a lot of information could be misconstrued or just didn't have enough information to go on. Okay, so First, chickens prefer beautiful humans. So in here it says it is well summed up by its title, which isn't completely true. Although they did do it on chickens and them preferring humans, I guess, but it wasn't. But prefer is a strange choice for this because what they did was they got 6 chickens. So immediately you can kind of see, okay, six, not really enough, and yeah, that's not really enough to go to say that it's reputable. Okay, so next it says they had experience with the experimental setup, which is picking stuff on a computer screen, but not with tasks involving faces. So they what they did was they found a bunch of they obtained a bunch of faces that looked like this, ranging from very manly to very womanly. And they says during testing the presentation of the rewarded and unrewarded faces continued as above. So da 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 da. It says a randomly chosen face was brought up to the chickens, and they were. But the thing is, they were trained to pick. So if it was a hen, they were trained to pick the women. I mean, not the women. Wow, the men. The men. Okay, and any male chickens were trained to pick the screen when it had female pictures. So that's kind of weird. So that they did was they had this and they put up a random face, say this one, and you'd be like, oh well, that looks like a man. Okay, well the chickens kind of said that same thing. So when they were presented with this, the number of pecks that they got between the male and female things were very, very close. So that they presented all these faces, and the number of pecks that they got kind of said the same thing as they pecked the female chickens pecked the male faces, and by male I mean very male. So like this guy on this end of the spectrum, and the male chickens picked at this one the most. So some people could say, oh well, obviously they prefer they prefer women with more womanly features on their face. Well, I'm kind of doubtful about this because although yes, the data is very consistent, but then again, it's it can kind of it has some holes in it, such as when they were taught to pick at the faces. So imagine you're a chicken and you're given a bunch of faces. So and when they give you, let's say this face, when you pick at it, you get food. When they give you this face, when you pick at it, you don't get food. Seth, did you feed the dogs? So yeah, sorry, I had to pause it. I know that wasn't anything to you, but anyway. So where was I? So they were trained to pick at. So imagine you're a chicken and you find they present you this face, okay? And when you peck at it, you get food. When they present you this face, you peck at it, you don't get food. So you kind of trained, and some people would say, oh, well, they were trained to just distinguish between male and female. Well, kind of, because I'm kind of my view on this is that they were trying to recognize the features on their face. Because if you look at this, it's kind of like is it male or is it female or what? Because the features are kind of neutral. So when they have So when a face has a bunch of female features, the chicken might be like, oh, well, that's obviously a woman. I'm gonna go peck at that. And when they have less female features, then that's kind of, eh. So I hope you got my point. But so my whole point of this is, and that was just a bit. So I hope you get my point on this, on the faces. So my whole point on this is, when you see something in the news or something kind of weird that doesn't really make sense, or you just think it might not be true, and it says, oh, well, this was a scientific study that did, look into it. I know it seems kind of weird, but just look into it and see what actually happened in there, and see if it was reliable enough for you to say, oh, well, this must be true. And that's and that point right there kind of came from this YouTube video right here. With Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, which I love his show, which I kind of just like steal off of YouTube instead of actually watching it, and then instead of actually watching it on HBO. So anyway, went through his thing. This is kind of what gave me the idea to do this, and it kind of showed me in my earlier video that maybe I could have done something better. Because, I mean, and he talks about the, how the media, they put up these stories that have such kind of incomplete or weird information, and they say, oh, this was a scientific study, so this is true. And when you look into the actual science behind it, it's not very true. He brings up a lot of cases like a study that says a specific type of chocolate, it was performed on like 4 people or something. A specific type of chocolate every once in a while during pregnancy can help the child do something. And so, when a study comes out like that, news stories are like, okay, well, I can't present that whole title because it's very specific, and it's not gonna get a lot of people watching it and wanting to watch our show. So what they do is they make it broad and intriguing. So they say, oh, well, chocolate during pregnancy can help baby do da 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 da, instead of actually saying what happened or even looking into the study that it was from to see if it was reliable, because all they really care about is their views. Which, by the way, watch this. It's amazing. Which, it's really cool. So, if you look in the description, there should definitely be this. There should definitely be the link to this, to this, to this, and to this. And this might be bold or something, because I love this show. So I hope you enjoyed, and you kind of get what I'm saying. And I will see you next time. And wait, sorry for not uploading for such a long time. I've really been under a lot of stress doing schoolwork and stuff, so I'm really sorry. So anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye.